Hello, it is Will here back for his second episode of today. And that is because the first episode, you can go listen to it now. It's on live. I put it on the podcast feed. And without noticing it, my microphone was picked up by some random thing. So it was not showing that it was this microphone. It was picking up like the camera's audio or something. I don't know. But why the streaming system would default to anything but the only microphone plugged into the computer, I do not know. But I just wanted to do a quick clip. If you want to go listen to that one, I mean, you can still hear what I'm saying. Just the audio is bad, obviously, because it's not being picked up through this microphone. So if we I still wanted to put out something today just for the NBA finals that are about to start as of right now, I think within 2 hours. So I'm recording this 2 hours before the finals. It is, of course, the NBA finals are the number one seed Thunder from the West, or representing the West, I should say, against the four seed Pacers representing the East. Now I said, oh, if this game's close, if Pacers win, I got to do an episode tomorrow. Now I have to do an episode tomorrow to talk about all the stuff I talked about on the other episode. Because yeah, it didn't get picked up. So let's dive into who I think is going to win this. I think it will be Thunder. Uh, I think everybody agrees that it will be Thunder. Thunder are just the better team. They've been the better team the entire NBA season, and not better team than just the Pacers, better team than everybody, right? They have been the odds on favorite to win the title since 2 months into the season, where they just outpaced everybody, especially in the West, which was much harder to gain just a footing in than the East. The East was all just Knicks, or not Knicks. It was all Celtics, Cavaliers, and that kind of fell apart in the conference semifinals for both those teams. So when we look at this Thunder's team, we're going to look back at the end of this playoff run and be like, wow, Thunder Nuggets, that was a weird series because that series went 7. And when we look at the other matchups, Thunder killed the Timberwolves, they killed the Grizzlies, right? They won those two series by a combined 8-1 record. The Timberwolves getting the one victory in those two matchups. So you look back at that Nuggets series and you're like, the Nuggets aren't good, right? This season they haven't been good, but they were kind of playing with house money, right? Where it was just like Malone got fired and then they were just kind of just relying on the best basketball player in the world, regardless of if you think SGA should have won the MVP title this year, which I think he should have, and I'm glad he did. But Jokic is, I think, without question, the best basketball player in the NBA right now. So to go 7 games against the best player in the NBA with a team, again, where a team that's good when Murray's on, obviously Jokic is always on, and then when you have other guys coming off the bench or just your starting five, with Braun and I'm blanking on his name right now, but when you have guys on that team who have been to a finals and won a final coming on in the playoffs, like that's all you need to win a series, right? But it's much harder compared to the NFL to win series in the NBA because you have to not only beat a better team than you, but beat a better team than you decisively 4 times out of 7. So I think when you look at the Thunder's Nuggets series, I mean, if Nuggets would have won that series and it was a Nuggets Timberwolves finals and a Pace Knicks finals, that would have been crazy interesting. But honestly, getting a Thunder Pacers finals, just the Pacers coming out of the East is shocking, is crazy, is really something. I feel like if the Pacers beat and somehow upset the Thunder, which the odds, nobody's thinking that's going to happen. The money, no one is saying that's going to happen. The just vibe of both these teams. I mean, Pacers kind of feel like Thunder light, and the Thunder feel like, again, the best team in the NBA with the best player currently in the NBA. If you're just going by who we named MVP. We as in the viewing public, the basketball fan public. It's just, yeah, the Thunder, again, Thunder and Pacers are very similar teams. They're built very similar ways. Obviously, Halliburton is nowhere near the level of SGA, but Halliburton still is very clutch. He comes in moments where you need him. He comes in to kind of make statements at the end of games, and he has just elevated himself this playoff run just to clutch status, right? Like the way we talked about Tyrese Halliburton before these playoffs started and the way we talk about Tyrese Halliburton after these playoffs have started is a night and day difference. And then you also throw in the added bonus of Siakam just winning the Eastern Conference Final MVP and just really just showing out in that Knicks series and kind of all playoffs. So now all of a sudden, if we're going into a Thunder Pacers matchup where the Pacers have of the top three best players in this series, they have the top two kind of hitting their peak and their stride the last two rounds. Like, could Pacers come in here and what if they win game one? What if they win game two? What if they win either or both of those, right? What if all of a sudden this series is 2-0 Pacers heading back to Indiana for game 3 and 4? Like, I don't think it will go this way. I am picking the Thunder to win. I would probably say in 6. I could see this being very similar to the Pacers Knicks series where it's like the games are very physical. They're very close, but the Pacers in that series just kept pulling it out. So in this one, I could see the Thunder just kind of edging out the Pacers, kind of wearing them down, playing that, and I mean this as a compliment, that annoying defense where they aren't giving them any space to operate with. And Pacers played the same style of defense as the Thunder, but with how fast the Pacers shoot, I really think the Thunder are just going to slow them down, kind of make it harder for the Pacers to pass the ball around, to get, open looks, to get even good looks. Like, even if it's covered looks, the Pacers are really good at ball movement, but so are the Thunder. Again, when you talk about these two teams, it's like you're talking about the West and East versions of the same team, and just the Thunder just have 1 or 2 point better players than the other team. And I mean that in like a rating standpoint, right? You'd be like, everybody on the Pacers is like B minus, B plus, but then you'd go, yeah, but their counterparts on the Thunder are A minus, A plus. So it's one of those things where, yes, this Pacers team is good, but this Thunder team is better at everything the Pacers do. So when you look at, but then again, you look at how the Pacers got here, what they did against the Giannis Bucks, where he was averaging almost a triple double every game. It's all of a sudden 4-1 series gentleman sweep by the Pacers. Then the next round, it's like, oh, well, the Pacers are going to get their comeuppance now. They're playing the Cavaliers, who for most of the season with the Thunder, they went back and forth as who is the better team? Which team is the best team in the NBA? Clearly the Cavs are the best team in the East, even though the Celtics are kind of right here, but they were 2-2 with the Celtics during the regular season. And then on the West, it's like the Thunder are clearly number 1, but the West is a much harder division than the Eastern Conference this year. So it just became one of those things where Pacers all of a sudden upset Bucks. I don't know if it was really an upset because it was a 4-5 matchup, but the conference semifinals were definitely an upset where all of a sudden the Pacers not only beat the Cavaliers, but they also win that series 4-1. Again, when Donovan Mitchell was averaging 32 points, 32 like 7-7 that entire series, and they just wiped the floor with him, even though he's doing, stuff we haven't seen since the guy above me right here, Jordan, right? He had that underhand switch up between 3 people where everybody was like, if Michael Jordan did that, people would be losing their minds. And they were correct. The people saying that were correct to say that. But again, then we go to the Eastern Conference Finals, and that first game that the Pacers kind of stole away from the Knicks was intense. The atmosphere was crazy. It was just like one of these things where it's like, this series is going to go 7. This is going to go back and forth. Each team's going to just be throwing haymakers back and forth. And then the Pacers were just like, now we're just going to kind of frustrate the Knicks, just make them play our style of basketball and kind of just outwork an already tired team, which is why, Thibodeau, that one of the reasons why he got fired is because everybody on that team was like, I'm tired of playing so many minutes. So you go game one in that series is already going to OT, and then it's like, man, this Pacers team is annoying, and we have to beat them now 4 times out of the next 6 times we play. Like, it's not going to happen. And then you look at the West, a much easier route to the finals with the Thunder historically destroying the Grizzlies, and then going to 7 against, in my personal opinion, the best player in the NBA, which is Jokic, followed closely behind, especially this season, by Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who again rightfully deserved the MVP, but I think Jokic just does more. And then the Thunder just kind of wiping the floor with the Timberwolves, who run a Cinderella run, and then all of a sudden it struck midnight, and now all their cars are mice or whatever happened in that story, right? So it just becomes Thunder Pacers game one. I am picking the Thunder to win this series. I think they do it in 6. I think this is a 4-2. I don't think it'll be a gentleman's sweep, obviously, because I'm giving one more game to the Pacers than what the Timberwolves were able to do. But then again, the Pacers have been doubted against every team they played against. As an Eagles fan, it kind of reminds me of like maybe at the end of this run, we just go, wow, that Pacers team is actually really good. Halliburton, Siakam, the way they play defense, their coach, everything like that. Maybe at the end of this, we go, wow, we really underestimated how great that team was. And even though every single round, every single analysts, people who watch basketball, all fans were just like, oh, Pacers are going to lose against the Bucks. They have Giannis. Pacers are going to lose against the Cavaliers. They have Donovan Mitchell. Pacers are going to lose against the Knicks. They have Brunson. And it's just like, that didn't happen. So now those same people, myself included, are just going, oh, well, Pacers are going to lose against the Thunder. They have Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. And it's just like, yeah, but we've been saying that for 3 rounds. Pacers have been one of the 5 best teams the last month of this season. So I just want this to be a good series. I want it to be a fun series. I'm really, really interested how we see what happens in game one, because again, these teams kind of mirror each other. So it's like, are we going to get a really good defensive performance by both sides? Are we just going to get an offensive explosion because both these teams play against this style of defense in practice and all that kind of stuff? So yeah, I'm excited to see it. I'm picking Thunder, but I feel like I'm kind of rooting for the Pacers just because, again, it's the underdog story, be a huge upset. I mean, if you want any money on this series, just pick the Pacers to win because the odds are astronomical against the Pacers. So my only hope is this just isn't a Thunder sweep and then every game sucks. And that's kind of just how we end the basketball season and end a pretty interesting playoff season just on a whimper like that. But based on what the Thunder have done against the Timberwolves and Grizzlies and pretty much this entire season, that's looking like what it should be. But I'm really hoping we get Pacers Knicks intensity with Thunder's Nuggets game 7, how that series progressed. So I'm Will. This has been the Only Sports Podcast. I'll be back tomorrow to talk about game 1 of Pacers Knicks. Adios.